Siyah Beyaz Aşk, Black and White Love. It is one of the famous Turkish forced marriage dramas. The drama story revolves around a doctor and a mafia leader. Asli is a kind doctor who treats her patients with kindness and love. Farhat is involved in criminal activities and one of his men is shot one day. He kidnaps Asli to treat the man. However, he tells his family that they are in love. Gradually, he forces Asli into marriage. There is a lot of hate at the beginning of this forced marriage TV series, but gradually they fell in love with each other. Birdeli Ruzgar, Restless Wind. The main character of the series had a difficult fate. As a young girl, she possessed not only external beauty but also musical talent. Melike was not born into a wealthy family, but this did not stop her from dreaming about big scenes and turning her dreams into reality. With the help of new acquaintances, she achieved her goals. Her starry hour lasted a long 10 years, after which she returned to bitter reality. For the sake of a singer's career, she refused all that she had: friends, relatives, a loved one. So having lost her job and left without a penny of money, she was forced to get a toilet cleaner in one of the night bars in the city. At a new workplace, Melike makes friends with a brand new singer named Gokte. She shares her life story with her and tries to warn her new friend from the mistakes that she made in her youth. But the thirst for fame and money doesn't allow the young girl to open her eyes and not repeat the fate of Melike. Kara Para Aşk, Black Money Love. Omar is a police officer. After the death of his fiancée, he suffers great pain. Sybil, Omar's fiancee's body, was found on the top of a cliff in a car next to a fairly old, rich businessman. After the shock of her sudden death and the accusations of his love cheating on him, Omar realizes that there is more behind a suspicious murder. He decides that he will do anything in order to find his fiancee's murderer and to prove to everyone that she was not cheating on him. On the other side, Elif, the middle child of 3 girls of Ahmed and Zerin, loses her father to a murder where his body was found in the same car as Omar's fiancée. While still grieving after her father's death, Elif is threatened by dangerous men in order to find millions of dollars worth of diamonds that her father had stolen in order to pay all of his debts that his family were unaware of. After Elif finds out that her father was involved in the black money market industry, she gets involved with the father's dirty works and pairs with Omar, both of them desperate to find out who is in charge of the murders of both of their loved ones. Little do they know that the leader of the industry is a man who Elif sees as her uncle, a man who knows all of their secrets and a man who is always one step ahead of Elif and Omar. Kara Sevda, Endless Love. Kemal Soydre is the son of a middle-class family. Nihan is the daughter of wealthy socialites, Ondar and Vildan. She also has a twin brother Ozan, whom she loves dearly. Ondar's business is slowly coming to an end and Vildan, unable to give up her luxurious life, wants Nihan to marry Emir, who holds a deep love for Nihan. But Nihan is appalled to the idea as she despises Emir for she finds him ruthless and arrogant. In his last year in mining engineering, Kemal meets Nihan when the latter helps her buy a bus ticket. The pair fall hopelessly in love at first sight and Nihan completely changes Kemal's monotonous life. Love is impossible because of the class difference between them, but they manage to be together. That is until Amir stages an accident that results in Ozan killing a girl. To prevent Ozan from going to jail, Nihan agrees to marry Amir. The next day, she goes to meet Kemal at the port where he proposes to her when between tears, Nihan sadly turns down his marriage proposal and ends their relationship. Heartbroken, Kemal leaves Istanbul and goes to Zonguldak to work in the mines. He isolates himself in his work and one day, following his actions to help in an accident at the mine, Kemal is promoted and assumes a position of power in the company. 5 years later, Kemal makes the decision to return to Istanbul to face his past. Hercai. Miran Aslan Bey, the only heir to the Aslan Bey family, who came to Mardin Midyat as a businessman from Istanbul, will offer Nasu Sadoglu more than a partnership and wants his great-grandson Riyan as his wife. However, Midyat's most powerful head of family, Nasu, has different plans for Miran, who he calls a very good fortune, unaware of anything. He will give her granddaughter Riyan, but not the grandson he wants. Nasu is unaware of Miran's plans as he tries to convince Miran of his plan. While the agreement between the two men is eagerly expected by both families, the news will profoundly affect the lives of two young girls, Riyan and Yaren. From the first part of Hercai, he will witness a great test with love at first sight.
Ask Laftan and Lamaz. Love doesn't understand words. Hayat is a young girl who lives in Istanbul together with her two friends Asli and Apak. She has a happy life in Istanbul and wants to live there apart from her family. However, upon her father's request, Hayat has to find a good job as soon as possible. Otherwise, she needs to go back to her hometown and start to live with her family again. Hayat knows that she has to do her best on the next job interview for a multinational textile company Sarte. If she is hired by that company, she knows that she can persuade her parents and continue to live in Istanbul. During the interview, Hayat is mistakenly considered as Suna, who is the daughter of the company owner's close friend. In her desperation for the job, Hayat doesn't clear this misunderstanding and acts as if she is Suna and gets the job, becoming the assistant of Murat, the heir of Sate. Hayat doesn't disclose her true identity and starts to work together with Murat. Even though they argue all the time, they become closer and closer. Hayat is impatient, hot-blooded and clumsy, whereas Murat is firm, calm and arrogant. The two have totally different characters but begin to fall in love. In this story, you will explore a romantic comedy between two different characters. Seferin Kizi, the ambassador's daughter. Sensar, the son of a poor half, loves Nare, the daughter of an ambassador who came on holiday to Bodrum when he was a child. These two opposing children love each other very much. They struggle for years for their love. Eventually, the girl runs off to the boy, but the night they are reunited, Nare just disappears. No one's ever seen her again. Some say she fell into the sea and died. Some say the Sapphire girl fled to Europe, and a lover tells them the song, and the daughter of the Sapphire is a twilight bird. So Nare and Sansar's unhappy story becomes an epic. The daughter of the Sapphire, who disappeared on a wedding night, appears exactly 9 years later on another wedding night. Moreover, this wedding is Sansar's wedding and brought her daughter. Yemin, the promise. The ethics of two young people with a very different world are happy that they live in compulsory marriage after the promise. Sadness days will be the subject of the series. Rehan is brought to Istanbul by Hikmat Bey from the country because Hikmat has a spoiled son who cannot fit the brain in hand. Hikmat Bey, who has one foot in the pit, wants to marry Rehan, a sit-down girl, and his son Amir and guarantee the future of her disabled daughter Suna. Rehan depends on a promise and wants to get used to her husband Amir. However, Amir has no intention of pursuing this marriage. Rehan and Amir, who are against each other, will be madly in love with each other. Amir, who grew up in a rich family without knowing what responsibility is, replaces his father with Rehan, whom he married without asking. With the order, Rehan is actually as different as black and white. But Fikret decides to marry her irresponsible son Rehan without asking his son. Hikmat Bey brings Rehan, who he considers a trusted person, to entrust her daughter Suna with the natural disabilities after him as a bride to Istanbul. Amir has tried to prove himself to his father since he was a child. His father's forced marriage also him off and is determined to remove his anger at his father from Rehan. Amir vows that the first time he married nervously, he will never touch his wife again. In fact, when Rehan first found out, he would oppose marrying the Amir. However, when he learns that Hikmat, who he loves like his father, has few days left, Rehan agrees to marry Amir as promised to him. Although Rehan accepts this forced marriage and the spoiled Amir, the wise brain shower Chamida lady cools her alive, which time the commandment is wise and falls in love with Rehan. But Rehan was very broken in the process. The more Amir pursues Rehan, the more she falls in love with her. Atis Bosegi, Firefly. Firefly Turkish drama story revolves around the life of a young couple Baris and Asli. Baris is a successful divorce lawyer who never believes in love. Asli is an intelligent, friendly, pretty girl who is full of life. She is a driver of a luxurious car and meets Baris in a car. Asli and Baris meet each other and their lives take an exciting turn. Baris understands the reality of life. The story is full of romance, emotions and entertainment. Fatmagul Susune. Fatmagul is a beautiful and naive girl who engaged to her childhood sweetheart Mustafa. One night, four young men start to play around with her. They never think that the joke will turn into a rape at first, but later they begin to rape her one by one. The sun of her life is shadowed after that night. It's not only Fatmagul's body which was raped, but also her life. Mustafa breaks off their engagement, and in order to save the honor of her family, she is forced to marry one of the rapist Kerem.